Job, Reverend Cottrell, Job was afflicted by the Lord just like me. He had everything taken away from him.
Indeed, dear lady, these things are sent to try us.
It's his will. First he took my Albert from me, then Joyce. Now dear Leopold has been called to him.
Reverend Cottrell, Madam, you have
And
my...
the fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burnt up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Isn't it dreadful? Quite dreadful.
Yes, indeed. Reverend Cottrell, a word with you, if I may.
Of course.
Madam Goodbody tells to me that you are responsible for the presence of Olga Semenov here in Woodley Common.
Olga, yes. I started a little scheme, sort of missionary work in reverse.
Indeed.
I visited Czechoslovakia some time ago and forged links with some churches there. Various families were eager that their daughters should better themselves, seek opportunities in this country. I was happy to help.
And Olga Semenov, she was one of them?
Yes, I managed to find a position for her with Mrs. Llewellyn Smythe.
Oh, that is most worthy of you, monsieur.
Well, I did my best. Tried to keep a pastoral eye on her.
And this scheme of charity, it no longer operates?
No. No, Olga's disappearance rather brought it to a shuddering halt. Her parents are still writing to me, blaming me, for heaven's sake.
Blaming you?
Well, she's never been in touch, you see. Never returned home. 2 years it's been now. Hardly my fault. The girl was trouble, monsieur.
Why do you say that?
Well, I can't claim to know all the details, but Mrs. Llewellyn Smythe did come and see me one night in a terrible state.
It's all because of Olga, you see.
My dear lady, what has she done?
There's so much wickedness in the world, it's really most upsetting.
Whatever's the matter?
Can it be true? If it is, then I have no choice. I will have to involve the police, but... Oh, the scandal.
Would you like me to speak to her?
No, forget I came to you. I'll deal with it in my own way.
At the time, I didn't know what she was on about. But when all that business about the forged codicil came to light, Olga was a wrong 'un. That's all there is to it. I wonder where she is now.
I didn't know what to do, you see. Yes, you're right. It was me. Sacrifices are sometimes necessary. I see that now. There's someone at the door.
Mrs. Drake's just heard about poor Leopold.
I shall never forgive myself. Of course you were right, monsieur. I ought to have told you what I saw, but I thought...
Calmez-vous, madame. Tell all to Poirot.
I thought I was acting for the best. You must believe me. And now... If only I'd told you, maybe we could have saved him.
Begin at the beginning, madame.
I did see something that night in the hallway. The library door opened rather carefully, and I saw him.
Whom did you see, madame?
Leopold. Of course, it startled me. I thought he was playing Snapdragon with the others. And what's more, he had such a queer look on his face. He was always rather a strange boy, not quite right, you know. The way he looked, it upset me, and that's why I dropped the vase.
Oh dear, you're drenched. What a clumsy thing you must think me.
I didn't think anything of it at the time. It was only later when we found Joyce, that I began to think it over,
And of course you concluded that Master Leopold, well, He killed his sister, n'est-ce pas?
God help me, I did. And then, when you came and questioned me about things, I couldn't say anything. He's so young. He was so young. He couldn't have known what he was doing. I suppose I had a half-baked notion that I could get treatment for him, or not have him sent to some dreadful institution.
I understand, madame.
His being killed must mean something quite different. He must have gone in there and found Joyce dead. And that must have given him the most awful shock. Not because he'd killed her, but because he'd found her. Oh, God! Who can have done these dreadful things?
Poirot will discover all, madame. It will not be long now.
So that's the schoolteacher out of the picture. Where does that leave us? The poisoned old lady or the solicitor's clerk?
Cocoa, anyone?
No, merci, madame.
What do you think, Judith? How much did Rowena Drake disapprove of her daughter's liaison with a crook like Ferrier? Enough to kill?
Well,
Or could Mrs. Reynolds have been secretly attracted to her lodger all along? And where has Olga Semenoff got to? It occurred to me the vicar might be shielding her. And then there's Mrs. Goodbody. Well, she's just odd.
Je vous implore, madame. This is not one of your detective fictions. We must deal here only with the truth.
I'm only trying to help.
I know you are, Ariadne.
The final piece of this puzzle eludes Poirot still. The victim. One must always return to the victim for their personality, their nature. It is the key. What has everybody told to Poirot about Mademoiselle Joyce Reynolds, huh? She is a liar, a teller of the tall tales, a boaster, a little liar. So when she claims to have witnessed the murder, nobody believes her. And yet she is dead.
Monsieur?
I have been an imbecile. 3 times over, an imbecile. It was there all along. The Maharaja.
What?
Tigers, mesdames, elephants.
I remember her uncle had been to India. The story got added to every time. She hadn't even been.
She had not even been. She appropriated the story. A murder that was witnessed by someone else. Someone with whom she shared her secrets.
Miranda?
Your daughter, madame, she is in the danger. Most terrible.
Miranda?
I only hope we are in time.
Are you sure Mummy won't be worried?
Merci beaucoup, Inspector. He will meet us there.
Come on, Ariadne!
It's so beautiful. It's bright as day. You do look funny.
I don't mind if you laugh. No one can hear. Shall we? You know, people used to worship here. The sun and the moon and the stars. And they used to sacrifice things as well. I've explained to you about sacrifice, haven't I?
I have to die so that others might live. So that beauty can live.
That's right.
What I saw, was that a sacrifice too?
In a way.
And Joyce? And Leopold?
Mm-hmm.
Is it time?
Yes. And now you and I will drink to the past and the future and to beauty.
That'll be nice. What does it taste of?
It'll taste of whatever you want it to. It's magical, you see.